Okay, so we have two questions. By the way, it just turned 7 p.m. and there's a possibility that the dollar Swiss could tumble into these three little slices I put in. I'm using my magical 4-period cloud system, which is about as laggy as I'll ever put a moving averages. I also have the 2-period moving average inside here. So as soon as it starts to turn greenish, and of course we have the lagger, the big yellow cloud is the 4-period. Same thing on the way down, the big pink cloud or something on the way down. But you're also going to have to pay attention to the nooks and cranny factor of like, this is always going to be a great place to buy. Even though it's saying sell because it's blue, this is where people say you have to ignore your indicator. Well, yeah, of course, because this is going to be more important. Is this time pivot dead on time? You actually get a Goldilocks setup here. You get a top bottom in the cloud before you've even cut into any of this giant hole yet. You haven't even got into that. So that is clean, quick and dirty. And of course, everybody's getting the fuck out here for the scalp. They never really get a total scalp out of that. And people are forced to chase that or cover, short squeeze, whatever. Something's causing that big gust. It's because it's cutting into fresh territory. So since we've we haven't made it to this 50-yard line yet. Right here. So obviously we're in the bear window. People are jumping on this train because we tipped into this deep window. And anybody that's sold above this is currently underwater, but if they were prepared to sell a 50 pip to 100 pip zone, like if they were really that committed, then they're able to say, I'm going to sell all the way to here. And I'm not really going to feel this fill too much. It's not going to bother me. And this is the Goldilocks. The porridge factor has to be just right temp. But this is just the weekly. So there's plenty of trades on the daily that you could have just got on the goober train here and just said, okay, it's going up. I got a structure entry. You know what? They did trap people down here. You know what? This is a double bottom in time underneath where it's supposed to, sellers are supposed to come in. Last ditch effort is going to be closing prices, and it cuts through that. Then it comes back to that, and it's already, the cat's out of the bag. Granted, this choppy action here, you could say, well, look at your blue cloud was kind of calling it, but the problem here is it's so rambunctious that a smooth run like this, how can this even be the same market? Right? I mean, this smooth move came out of a market that's got this choppy down move, and then a smooth move, and then kind of a not a great robots trapped short thinking, oh, it's blue, just sell every rally in blue and everything will be fine. Never got filled on your limits here, so you had to settle for buying this window, irregardless of how it got there, because once it dips below the 100-yard line, there is definitely a lot of interest because it's left, because it cut so hard here, it left that void behind. So it's just filling. It's always backfilling. And I would be thinking that the scalpers are going to try to, when we get back to here or something, there'll be a lot of small, tiny areas to get in. So the question here is, can we adjust the ATR to give us data in the direction of the candles? Well, you could have, I guess, them change color. Like a bullish ATR is a certain color. I don't know how to do that, but I'm sure in the code, you could dig through it. But the question is, would it change your decision if it was a bullish or a bearish candle with small range? And I guess if you're going to buy a micro pullback and claim you're buying because you wanted to see it's down a little bit, you're going to counter enter, or you're going to enter with it. So if that matters, yeah, you'd want to change a color here. I kind of did the color thing to make it so that somebody that wasn't color adverse would find it easy to trade it, And if it looked like the market, a rule of thumb with moving averages, if the market doesn't make sense, you have to change time frame till it does. You have to go to another time frame and say, okay, it looks like hell on here too. By the way, you could claim to be a trend trader, and you're only trading from the long side within the daily charts, any kind of crush in the structure, I'm sure during this phase. But anybody that is looking at a move like that should be completely aware of the reason why it's gusting up so quickly is it's trying to fill this ever lingering, looming drama behind, just like the looming drama left behind here that fills up. This is a steeper one, which needs a steeper answer. It's only answering the punishment of the down move. I mean, these are punishing moves. Look at this thing just fall out of bed and come after this fucker stop and then trap under the floor. This is the weekly dollar Swiss. This is insane auction situation. Dude, it's like, not to mention this trap. Remember this double trap under this triple bottom and then rip your fucking head off? That's the trade. Shit. You got long here, right? I mean, come on. A double top at the 100-yard line? Who would sell that thing, right? A bear would have taken that trade. Any bear would have sold new highs. Now it looks like they broke this thing out. It looks scary. Like we're going to come here, maybe weasel here. Maybe it's going to melt down. Maybe it's going to start backfilling this, and it is going to go to fucking hell. Dollar be down at like 85 cents. Here comes the people that want to have like no trains, no nothing. They're in office pulling the lever. Yeah, I could backfill. Let's go straight down like this. They close drones are crashing. Yeah, Boeing's coming back. How they ever figure out what's wrong with those airplanes? So I can't wait to get on a Boeing plane. So instead of suicide by cop, it's like, hey, I'm feeling suicidal. Look at that latest Boeing design. Yeah, I want the autopilot that's kind of like sketchy. It's trying to update Windows 10 while it's taking off. Yeah, we didn't want to say anything to the passengers. I run when Windows 11 and a half is running. How about they should come out to Honor 3.11 and come out with 11.11? Some kind of update for us. Keep us entertained. Yeah, it looks like a big pullback coming on that dollar. Dollar Swiss looks like it's had it. Look at this brutal trap on the daily. Somebody sold that thing like they're just holding on. They put an order up there. I'll sell at the very tippy top. I'll be top tick Tommy. It is a pretty good scalp though. Because your exit had to be bottom tick Tommy right here. You had to get out here, right, and make bookends out of it. Yeah, there's no getting around the... So he says, how do we solve the baby trap problem when we hedge the small bars? I don't think there is a way to do it other than... Okay, if you go to the 1 hour chart, you're going to think that you're solving the problem, but you're actually going to have to trade on limits on the 1 hour chart to make money, I think. I think it's better to not trade breakouts on the 1 hour chart. It's better to trade the wicks. If the spread allow it, because the spread here is about yay. So if you had all your tickets sitting at the in this trap here, you could pump and dump this thing 3 times down here. But it is. I wouldn't look at the cloud. I'm not looking at the moving average. I'm looking at just this would have to be like a static chart, just black and white. That's another problem with the indicator is that once you scrunch this up enough, it's all about like. Okay, so here's like the 15-minute chart, and you can almost say the 5-minute chart scrunched down almost has no wicks. It doesn't need them. You can just see it right here at the support. I'm assuming if you got in somewhere in here, of course, this is not a good scalping currency, is it? The spread kind of fucked up. It is Asia. Doesn't move that much. Look at this spike all in here. So yeah, looks like a good healthy buy here on the 4-hour chart, but I think it could still tank. So I got this script I'm running right now that gets in 4Ks, like about 1/10 of a pip apart, and then this one's going to come in deeper for like 2 hours, I think. And that's a buy stop there. So this is my favorite trade right now. I recommended this morning when I was at Wayne's World. I was trolling Wayne's World this morning, and some guy stepped in and said, I'm still short the euro to the yen, and I thought, oh, you poor thing. So I tried to give him the update, and I said, dude, it's coming into support, and I was like, we were right here, and then this Wayne guy is talking, and I said, in the room, does he know the market's open? The news is coming out in 5 minutes, and then before the news, I think it stopped here, or maybe when the stock market opened, it did it last stop out here, and then it just took off. It was all pissed off, a pissed off currency. Yeah, so the euro's on a stampede here. So I'm taking a risk of getting stopped out of some of my golden trades here. I dumped the guppy this morning when we came into the floor, and I reloaded on hand-placed stopless limit orders. So I'm commingling some trade plans in here with some completely total risk of ruin. So here was the dump on the pound versus the yen. I got out here about 10 pips below that high. I just dumped it and said, you know what? They're going to go down again. And I'd already gotten long way down here at the very bitter bottom. I got long there. And then I started putting limits back in here. Just hand-placed limits. So I am risking the whole account, technically. It could be a complete disaster. But it's just a demo, so I'm not going to get too worried about it. I'd do the same thing if I had $500 in there, I suppose. I'd risk $500 to make $2,000. I don't know. Seems like a good deal. Here I don't see a trade until the dollar yen can start coming after this psychotic low down here. On the way there, I'll buy some, I guess. Every 10 pips, I'll buy 4K. Just for fun. Kind of just back of my mind trade. Can't watch all these things. Here was the other one that I really should have dumped, but I didn't. So this is the one I am taking more risk. I'm going to hold this and add to it right now. I think there's clear sailing on the Australian dollar now. I think we've punished it enough, and this is the floor. We need to get over the hump there. That is the obstacle. So is this. Every 10 pips on this is an obstacle. It's very easy to trade this currency. Doesn't take a lot of money. Kind of predictable. Spread's not bad right now. So look at this beautiful ranging market. We sell here. We can buy back. If it comes back 30 pips, we can buy it. I'm sure there's a pivot. Well, this is going to be the biggest target for most people right now on the daily chart. That's their hopes and dreams. Another hope and dream is this target, which was the floor back here. And right now, we have to basically get to that one quickly, because I expect it to be quick, because we still got this hole we left behind here, big shelf. The stairway to hell. We cleaned out those stairs, so now we're going to come drifting back up, possibly. Certainly structurally, it works on the 4-hour chart. Classic little wedge triangle. So here's one of these. You've got 4 hours to decide. Now, this would be a low volatility, 10 pip bar. On the 4-hour counter trend entry, though. That's the only way to save yourself from the punishment. Here, too, is down by the market, a small bar. Getting in before the breakout. So you could have a confirmation ticket there. But if you have a market order blended, so you have a market strategy, like you always have a loaded gun. That's not the best gun, because the best gun is going to be the one that fits the situation. If you think the market's plunging to a vacuum, then you might put a shotgun blast into limits that are spaced, 45 pips apart, and they go into just fucking down 250 pips, just fucking crazy shit. And there's fat tickets down there. They get fatter as they go down. Because you're going to have to buy more the lower it goes. So when it retraces, and if it doesn't retrace, that's not the problem. You have to plan for the retrace. It may not happen, but you got to plan for it. And if it doesn't come, it's kind of a proof that you're keeping your risk low, because you're setting up ridiculous scenarios. But when they do fill, which they have been known to fill these areas where people think the price can't go, and it's very momentary flash crash, or it's a momentary price, and either the circuit breakers of the offsets or people's kind of somebody's going to pick up the ball. It's over-the-counter trading, and granted, when there's nobody there to trade it, it's like there's nobody to tighten the spread. There's nobody on the other side of the trade to tighten the spread. So yeah, that could be kind of dangerous, I suppose. That's why if you're only in the market for 4 hours and your tickets evaporate every 2 hours, then you don't live a risky lifestyle financially. But yes, if you have big giant plunge orders in there that are like sitting there all week long, but you're probably going to make more money without even looking at it than a guy that is scalping, right? So they were talking about that this morning in Wayne's World, and he was like, "Oh, scalpers will never make money." No, scalpers that scalp make money. It's a lifestyle. People that swing trade make money. So anybody that can do it well, those people that can swallow, knives and stuff in the circus. There are people that can do stuff that just because you can't do it doesn't mean it can't be done. But yeah, the pressing buttons here, and he was talking about pressing buttons and stuff. Well, he should be pressing buttons. I never see the guy ever even, nothing. He should say, "Here's one of our famous demos. Watch me trade the fuck out of this thing." But he never does. He just talks about weird stuff. People are praising him like, "Man, what a great speech." Was he running for office? Who is this guy? Oh my God, he's just the graphics is creepy, dude. It's fucking Pike is what it is, Pike. So, here I'm still long on all these fucking tickets. I added to the position just now. I love this fucking trade. This thing looks like a fucking no-brainer ball buster all the way to this doji, and it's just like, boom, 70 cents. I feel like just letting it go. Make like just make $15,000 on this one stupid trade and then just stop trading and go, there you go. There's my demo account. I don't get it. It's so easy, right? I mean, especially with the ATR right now on the daily's got to be like nothing. This is creeper gear stuff. This is a true trend trade. And we're about to engulf. I don't think the sellers are going to come in too viciously until we get up to this. This is just going to be hilarious. So I'm definitely going to cash out into this because the I can reload with limits. If I was flat right now, I'd already have limits trailing like this, just for the rest of the week. We could still have, if news comes out, we could see, like, in other words, just because it's going up nice and calmly here does not mean that the wheels aren't going to come off in both directions, and people that have sell limits placed here are going to make money, and people that have buy limits here are going to make money because they're just counting on that fucking insanity. Like here, and you come down to this window here, it's like, holy shit. And then the people that buy because it's down at the end of the day, they're already long. They're getting in on that, right? So they're in on that trade. Those kind of people. And this big down stuff, yeah, I wouldn't buy now at the market like I am kind of buying at the market, but I'm going to justify it and say it's not going up. It just barely went up. So I could rationalize a little bit. If I go to the 4 hour, I could rationalize it and say, I'm getting in before the breakout of this top here. Because we could make a run for at least 20 pips into the bottom of this wick. I think this is kind of a obvious fast house cleaning. And then after that, I'd be putting in buy limits. If I was not in the market, I'd be putting buy limits 5 pips deep. So trying to gauge how deep tickets are you going to run? What time of day is it? How long are they going to last? What's the Asian session? How many tickets am I going to run? Am I going to go watch a Netflix movie and run 3-hour tickets and just see if anything bites? Really is what I'm doing is I'm going to see if anything bites. I got some, I want to go trolling for prices on stuff. So I'm going to just say, you know what, this market looks like we could get a 20 pips sell off in 8 hours, you know, that we could come back and take out the low of yesterday. And it looks really good on the daily chart. You can see the actual low. And then if you go to the 4 hour chart, you can see where it says in the landscape of that. In the 1 hour chart, you probably see maybe just one spike. Well, you know, just before and then just beyond that spike, you just have to assume that that's support. And there's no way to really know until the market gets there. And would it change your mind about that trade because the speed at which it got there? So if the speed at which it gets to the price that you're looking to get in at affects whether or not you're going to actually buy there. So having these predetermined entries is committing to the trade, I suppose, up front. And you're saying, oh, no, plus you're also saying you're taking the risk that just because you place the order there doesn't mean that effort is going to even get filled. That ticket will even get filled. You don't know if that'll happen or not. So, yeah, you really can't get around risking something. So yeah, if you have it's just you can run tighter stops, right? The baby traps. Also, now the baby trap, the problem there is that once you get stops that are so close to the spread, you basically are losing the battle of the you're going to just get your count churned to death if you start to think you can trade for free. So you don't want to place that many. It's better to have a 15-minute script that's going to just, you're going to have to force yourself to push the button every half hour And this is how you balance your over trading. If you want it to feel like you're close to getting filled, but not so close that you're getting it at the market. Now, if you say I'm going to buy 2 pips deep, you're kind of saying, well, I just kind of want a little bit of a discount, please. But if you're going to say 5 pips deep, you may not get filled. I mean, Asia could be that kind of thing. Now, if the market's screaming, there's really no need to trade at the market, because you could probably put an order in 7 pips deep and you're probably going to pick up, you got to see what's happening, what has happened. Have we already filled the void? Is the drama over? Or is it going into Asia? Do you want to just look at the 4-hour charts and just live a kind of a more it's a more fee? It's going to cost you more money, right, in spread, because you're saying, well, I'm going to get caught in these baby traps. This is how it is. So if that bothers you, then yeah, certainly you're going to have to get into the market with a tight stop. You have to babysit it more. You're going to have to press the button more often to kind of pick up these little baby black swans that are they're going to pay for the fake outs, right, or getting crushed. Now, when the news comes out, maybe you do want to trade just one direction, because those situations, it could be pretty brutal if you're getting double filled because the spread got wide. It's different than a single direction, because at least they either stop you out of their slippage or, but it's over. And then you can, if you have the balls to come back in with another trade plan that you've got all arranged, and you can just hit a button and do it, and it just throws out like whatever scheme you think that it needs at the moment. And that's a lot of fun, because if you do have a ridiculous thing where it's throwing 200 pips deep and they last for like an hour, it's conceivable that in an hour the market could move 200 pips. We've seen it happen. We've seen it happen in 20 minutes. We've seen the market move 200 pips. And of course, just to get the psychological fear out of the way of putting in orders that don't sound like they're very well thought out, that you're just going to get in 50 pips deep just because. Or you could hand place it in a logical place, right? But I'm saying if you did double click something, it's not too much of a difference between that and a hand placed order, because you're probably going to wish that you would have bought more in that one hand placed order, because maybe they shot through it by 20 pips. And if you would have had one in above and below, 8 pips above and below, you would have picked up 3 tickets instead of 1. And at that point you realize, well, if I could only get the scalps, get almost those guaranteed scalps, and then have the deep pendings for the swings. Yeah, but you're always gonna wish that each one of these little tickets performed to the utmost performance, but you're never gonna have that. If you have a factory, you have like 10 people that know what they're doing out of 100. And the other people are showing up, they're there, they can do this one thing, but maybe they can't get if something breaks, they don't know what to do. So, yeah, this is different, and of course, you could just specialize on the Australian dollar, and this way you could maximize, and you wouldn't have to feel like, another rogue wave on something. I crept up behind me, a rogue wave, and it's like, why are you walking so crooked? Because a rogue wave, I mean, I'm still making Cuban sandwiches. I still flinch every time somebody orders a Cuban sandwich. I can't seem to shake it. Yeah, so it's very psychologically disturbing. And of course, people want to know why the market moved and gosh, was there news or what happened? Like, gosh, what's going on here, people? Must be a fundamental reason markets are moving around like this. So cute how this thing turns around right at the round number on the 4-hour chart here and then turns around right here on close. That's kind of a funny turnaround there. But, yeah, 100 pips is kind of an obvious thing for this Australian dollar, don't you think? So trapped in the abyss. We're down here at the bottom, though. It's going to be quite the recovery for this currency. But yeah, I think this is it. I think the Australian dollar could come screaming back. Look at this fucker. It's in a goddamn 3-year low. It is insane. It's insane. Look at this thing. It's going to hang out for dear life till it takes out this double top here. Wow. Those are the good old days. How about way up here? This thing used to trade way up in the ionosphere. Here's your double top became a double bottom became a double top right there. The monthly. Oof. That was brutal. The people that bought here never really. It took them how long to make money on that trade? It's sitting that thing for 2 years. Ouch. It's kind of calming down now. Got to get over this though. It looks like it's doomed on this chart. Come to think of it, Australian dollar looks doomed. Oh my god. Yeah, it does. It looks like it's just gonna keep going to hell. We have to get out at the end of the month with this trade. I'll blow up this demo account. British pound's coming back to life. Oof. Look at this creeper gear sell off. Of course, it's about to tumble down the hole here if it can't. It's got to get through this double bottom. That's going to take forever. Then it's going to go after this. Oh, it'll take all year. I ain't got time for this. Let's go 1 hour chart. I should have got out of the thing here. Should have dumped it. Oh, I think I dumped this and the guppy, so these are all limits waiting to get filled. So that's my trade plan. I never dumped this. I'm holding on for dear life on this. This is my favorite plunge trade. Waiting for the final retrace here. So this looks like a no-brainer breakout. Got to get through this floor. Just below the round number. So yeah, this was the place to add on to the trade. It was a retest of that low. Kind of a faked out the bears here with this small bar. That looks like one of these dumbass retracements. Looks beautiful on the weekly. Like, all we got to do is get above this. So it's been a little chunky ride here. The end of the month's coming though. So the monthly chart is totally bearish. So I wouldn't buy very much on the monthly. Last month, loaded up here. Another deep discount. Now we're looking for the big march north. Gotta go after this trend line here. 100 pips away. Yep, it's gotta be done tanking because we just clipped that window. Otherwise it's lights out. If we can't get above here, And this is the next threshold. There's the biggest issue. And that's well before the trend line, so it's got a lot of work to do. I think most people will take profits there that are long. New sellers should come in there for the scalp. I'm sure anywhere along the way. This is the weekly, so the daily's a little closer. Yeah, I'm looking for it to scream to here. And go flat there. Then just count on it tanking. So that first bounce, and we may never see it tank again, but New Zealand looks hell-bent on retracement now. It looks really pissed off. Look at this thing come screaming back. On the daily. Oof. Yeah, look at this crazy sell zone. That was quite the plunge. It's the second time this currency's got its ass kicked. This is like the fucking torture window. But boy, it sure is away from that floor. It's really in no man's land. I'm going to get out there. Then just go flat, throw limits in, scattered. If I get the account, if I could double the account, then I'll just trade the rest of it lightly. It depends how much punishment you're in for. Look at this dumbass Swiss franc. God, this thing hardly moves. The monthly, it hardly moves. Boring. Not lately, though. The daily certainly had quite the screaming move. Of course, this daily here, I just look at that like a stop hunt. I can't really say I would want to sell that. I mean, I wouldn't believe in the cloud there. It certainly looks beautiful here as you go sideways into the cloud, and then just bam. This is the obvious capture window. I'm sure a lot of people are short into this thing. Looks like it's ready to crumble a little bit tonight. I'd buy it here for a bounce. And here maybe, but God. It could be lights out. Thing really got ahead of itself. I don't know. See, it's a problem if I look at that and then look at the euro, and I don't like to trade more than one thing at a time. I can't keep track of these things. They turn on you like a Doberman. You look at it and you come back to the chart and you're like, I don't think I see what I saw before. Look at this fucking mess. Euro pound. That looks very bullish. Like they're just going to go stomping into this hole up here. New Zealand looks like it's going to kill the yen. Looks very obvious. Euro's going to kill the CAD. Thing looks pissed off. It's going after this hole. Look at this brutality. The weekly. Bam. People thought that was support. They're like, I guess it isn't. No. Goes and hunts down this guy. Some guy's got to stop down here. They'll never touch my stop. Oh, yeah? How you like that? Look at the EuroCAD weekly. Look at these psycho trades. You got sell limits up here. 200 pip stops. That's how you'd have to trade this. Right now you got big fat buy limits down here. Waiting for the end of the world. Look at this thing on the daily. Got my sell limits up here in a 50 pip window. I just made 100 pips. Sure, bought down here. No, you could totally trade this, range trade this, even with this bad spread. If I could run in 100 pip stops, this looks like a no-brainer. Actually, this market, it's like, yeah, I'm buying here, right at the 50-yard line. Gonna get out, make 100 pips. We got our sell limits in here. Bunch more up here. All our buy limits are here right now. Just walk away. I wouldn't try to stop. I guess you could stop entry, trade that. No, it looks just too much work. Too much babysitting. Just throw limits in. If you got to babysit this for a small bar, you're going to kill yourself. You're going to wake up dead. That's the daily chart, so maybe I'm exaggerating. Here's the 4-hour chart. No, 4-hour chart looks brutal. No, actually, it looks like the robot, other than this big stop hunt here. You got a clean breakout, but then they came back. That's why this trades very well on limits. This is a limit trader's market. Look at that. Euro CAD. Who knew it was a currency pair? Fuck. Okay, I don't even want to have my one click exposed to this. I might actually accidentally pull the trigger on this thing. Look at this fucking mess. That's perfect range trader's dream. Same thing here, I think. Let me see. CAD yen. It's crawling out of the hole. Yeah, the yen's doomed. Okay, so my oil came back to life. Cloud's working it. I didn't scalp out. I should have taken that one winner off. I was up a little bit there a couple hours ago. Look at this huge cloud just perked up. Got to get over the hump here, though. We're caught in the trap here. We did go for the deep discount Plungeola. So this is the moment of truth for this crude oil. Otherwise, we're going after these limits. I'm just going to put in some raw tickets. And this looks very bullish. Guppy's coming back to life. I'm going to buy some more guppy at the market. I'm going to load the wagon on this guppy. Every time it's down, I buy. I missed that last. I can still get that price, kind of. So I'm gonna cheat and say I'm buying because we're right now. I'm getting a discount because I'm below here. That's my argument. Also, I can run my very tight trailing buy limits that buy super tight. I think I might have got stopped out of this. I'm not sure. That's 15-minute scripts. This is the 2 hours. Then these are like 30 minutes. This is not very risky, I don't think. I don't think it's going down there. The market had to be really going nuts. I can put some in here like that. There's a 1 hour. 1 hour scripts, 15. That's pretty close to the market. So if I get hit on these, I can do the same thing on Australian dollar. I can pick up a little bit of a pullback here, maybe. Throw some random buy limits in there. All right, so that's it. We're going to see what happens. It's Tuesday over there. The end of the month's coming. Looking for big short squeeze. Look for the dollar to crash. Dollar CAD looks ready to take a step down. Looks like we're sitting on this channel. Drifting down, melting down. Yeah, see what happens. Pound looks sweet here for a buy, but I don't like this pound Australia. Look at the spread, brutal. 4 pips. Fuck these guys. Although it looks like a beautiful trade from this breakout trend line. Come back. Sitting at the, I think this is a better place to buy on limits, but I ain't going to trade it. It's just the spread's god awful. Can hardly scalp it. Gonna ride the storm out here with the guppy. I have to take some of this off the table. Going all in on the guppy for a psycho slam to here. I think this is the final destination. First destination has got to get above this. So it's about 15 pips to go in that window. So I'll ride that up here tonight and go flat on this thing. If we can get just in this window, I'll go flat. I'd be too greedy. So yeah, just going to wait it out. I still like this for a retracement. I don't think we're done retracing on this. The euro looks pretty pissed off on the monthly. Just getting clobbered. They're really abusing the currency. Let's face it. I mean, I can't even believe that people allow this treatment. Look at these Europeans. They stand for any kind of punishment. These are the Brexiteers teaching them a lesson. Deep dive. New lows for the year. Bye-bye. I took out last year's low. Amazing feat. I wonder if people are bearish on this. I can only imagine. Oh yeah, the bears are in control in the monthly. Let's sell. Really? Okay. I don't know, man. This looks like it's done going down to me. At least for the next 10 pips. I think we can make it back above this 100-yard line here at least by the end of the week. But if this thing ever makes it back to here, it's going to take a few weeks. There's a lot of money to be made on the way there because sellers are going to come in like crazy on the top of this week. The nearest thing is all that matters to me. I can't really look too far in the future. This is going to be a psychotic window here. The drama here will be insane if we make it up there. So right here is the contention. How does it deal with that price, that one, and where everything just came unwrapped? The daily view. Probably zoom out a little bit on the daily. It looks like that. I mean, looks more bullish here. That looks bullish. That looks like the end of the down move. The low volatility 4-hour guys have buy stops sitting and sell stops sitting there, non-directional people. So we know their trade plan. I'll probably cash out into here. So I'm just going to ride it out, ride the storm out, maybe add on pullbacks. I should probably start putting buy limits in here, in case they kick that back before we go up. We get a little mini sale going on, mini auctions. The other guy couldn't pay. They re-auction it. It's like on eBay when you don't pick up your thing. Hey, relist it. The old relisting. Yes, I want to double this account and then retire it. Let it hold on the Australian dollar for another 3 years. I still like this trade. I'm buying more. This looks like the best fit right now. Australian dollar. Load the wagon. Let's see what happens to this Australian dollar. I say it's going through the roof.